Hello, EDL 856 community and Dr. Moody. This is my Module 5, Understanding My Community, here in Elkhart, Kansas, at the high school. And my name is Rick Hall. Take a sociological inventory. Of course, we're here in the middle of Kansas, so middle of the United States. We're a very rural community. We are actually the epicenter of the Dust Bowl back in the 30s and 40s. As you can see, this is a picture of our small community. We're surrounded by agricultural land. We have a fairly diverse community because of agriculture. We have a very large Hispanic community and a lot of cowboys, a lot of farmers, a lot of rural kids, very small community. Customs and traditions, some of the common ideas and attitudes. We're a very sport-related community. We're known for baseball. We're known for football. A couple of weeks ago, I was made the head basketball coach. So I have quite the challenge ahead of me because everybody says that our basketball is never any good. So maybe I can do something about that. Very large church organizations here at Elkhart. Very small town. We probably have 10 to 15 different churches. Because of the Hispanic community, we have a very large Catholic organization, Catholic congregation. And again, our culture is farming and cowboys, cattle ranching. So there's a large community of cowboys and horses and those kind of things. So that impacts the school system quite a bit. We're an agricultural economy. There really hasn't been a lot of change here in Elkhart. The one thing that does change, oil and gas is big here in Elkhart. So when there's fluctuations in the market, an example would be 8 years ago, the gas and oil was doing very well. Our school population was almost double than what it is right now. We had 8 doctors here in town. Now we have 1. So it is really affected by gas and oil. That, like I said, the two main economic factors for Elkhart are gas and oil, and then agriculture. The education level of the community is generally high school education. The leaders of the community, of course, have college degrees. Most of the kids, as soon as they graduate school here, they leave to go to larger communities. I would say we have a normal age enrollment and vitality of the community. Occupation, this population stability, again, it's based a lot on what's going on with oil and gas. If oil and gas is doing well, then the community seems to get larger. But when those kind of things are weak, we get smaller. Like I said, there was a large Mexican American community, Hispanic community. We probably have 25% Hispanic students here in the high school. I don't perceive any racial or social tensions because of the diversity issues we have. Most of the kids we have in school and the adults in the community are very good people. So we just don't have those issues. The community gets their information from the outside. We have one weekly newspaper, the Tri-State News. They put out a very small paper for Elkhart and Rolla, which is about 15 miles from here. It ends up being about 4 or 5 pages long every week. Epic Touch provides internet and television for the community. Foreign language impact, not so much. I'd say most of the people in the community get their news through the internet or through their phones. The phone service here in Elkhart is pretty spotty as well, because we are really literally out in the middle of nowhere. But if something was to ever happen to the internet, it would be uh, it would be a dark cave. So phone service and internet service really keep us in touch with the rest of the planet. Um, the majority of the special interest groups, I guess, here at the high school would be the FFA. They have a big impact on our student population and on the community as well. Like I said, because of our Hispanic community, we have a very large Catholic congregation here. And then the school board, the school booster club supports the school very well. I think because we're such a small community, they work together very well, and we protect the students. And the churches here in Elkhart do a great job of having fifth quarters and supporting what the students do, and we have a couple businesses that buy out the gate receipts for like football games and basketball games, so the community gets to come in for free. So there's very good support there. As far as problem organizations go, we really don't see that, or I don't perceive any of that happening here in our community. Our influence agents, I'd say our biggest influence agent is Rick Richardson. He's a local guy. He's been the superintendent here for 13 years. He does a real good job with dealing with all the community things. He is a local person. His wife is a local person. He's got children in the community, and so his leadership is very influential. I think Rex is a guy who kind of keep things in equilibrium. He does a good job of listening to people. There is one gentleman, Ethan. I won't say his last name, but he does a lot of subbing here in town. He's also on the city council, and his parents are probably, I would say, the richest people here in town, but they support the school very well. He's a very good guy. I like him. He's kind of abrasive, but the kids understand he is who he is, and I think the school district goes out of their way to help him have access to a lot of events and those kind of things. So he does have influence, but it's a positive influence. The city council and city members and board members, board club members, people in the community, because we're such a small community, it's people wear different hats. So I think the community as a whole get along very well. We always try to do what's best for the kids. We have a few, I won't say negative, but we have a few people who are in positions of leader, a police officer and a city councilman who at times their actions negatively reflect upon what the kids should be doing. But overall, 90%, the leadership of the community is very positive. Again, like I talked about, for the kids, Seaboard Foods is in Yucatan, which is about 30 miles east of here. The kids are able to work summer jobs for Seaboard Foods, and they get paid $18 to $20 an hour. So it's a very good job. It's kind of a hard job. They work long hours, but they're able to make very good money toward college and other things. So Seaboard Foods does support the schools very well. Kinder Morgan is a gas and oil company that a lot of the adults, a lot of the leaders here in town work for Kinder Morgan because gas and oil is such an important part of the economy here in Elkhart. But land use, property values, and tax rates here in Elkhart are fairly low because we're out in the middle of nowhere again. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Wage conditions for teachers and other people in town, I think we get paid fairly well for being such a small district. So the economic conditions here really revolve around oil and gas. When oil and gas is doing well, we do a lot better. We have more children coming in, more jobs available. The district does well because we get more tax money, more of a tax base. But when oil and gas suffer, we suffer as well. Stay out of my safe space. Well, what's interesting is my room is not a safe space. We tend to discuss, because I'm a social studies teacher, I like to challenge my students with things that they might feel very uncomfortable with. We talked a little bit this year about political correctness in my classroom. We talked about politics. Of course, with the Hispanic students, President Trump is not very popular with a lot of them. A lot of them see the good things that he's doing, but because of their families and the issues that President Trump has put forth, those issues tend to hit a nerve sometimes. So we've had some spirited discussions about President Trump, and I'm a big supporter of President Trump and the things that he's doing. It doesn't mean I support the man, but I support a lot of the things that he's doing. But having said that, I always let my kids have their own opinion, and I never attack them for those kind of things. The one thing that really bothers me here in Elkhart is that 15, 20 years ago, the state changed the way they collect taxes for school districts. And Elkhart was one of the better off school districts in the state because of all the tax money we were getting from oil and gas. And now all that money goes to the state, and then it divvies it out. So we kind of struggle here at Elkhart, and it's not really fair, because if it wasn't done that way, if it wasn't sent to the state and then divvied out that way, we would do a lot better. We would have a lot better facilities. We could pay our teachers more and our administrators more, because we were one of the highest tax collecting counties and districts in the state due to oil and gas. But it is what it is, so we just have to deal with it. Social tensions, I think the only possibility for social tensions would be between the Hispanic community and the white community, but I've never seen it. I mean, I've never seen our kids have those kind of things, interracial confrontation or discrimination or religious differences. I just don't think. Now, there is one thing that I deal with along the lines of religious differences. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Most people know us as Mormons. So there's a wide variety of misconceptions. And I've never had to deal with it with my kids, but there's been a couple parents that have questioned, what I believe and the way I live my life. But I've had to defend my beliefs in the community a couple of times, not very many. And actually, I was picked to be the school FCA representative. Well, the first presentation I gave, 4 or 5 of the pastors came in and watched my presentation, and I just like they were checking up on me. So they checked off and said, "Yeah, he's okay." But other, social tensions, I just don't see it here in our community. I mean, we get along well, we work well together. We just look at each other as Elkhart Wildcats. So I've never seen any of those kind of things. The school does a really good job of allowing access to the community for what's going on in the school district. Last year, they did do a anonymous questionnaire for parents and students during parent-teacher meetings. And the one thing that kind of disturbed me was that I was accused of being a racist. And I think a couple of my Hispanic students may have written that in the questionnaire because I support President Trump. They have no idea. I mean, it didn't bother me. It bothered me because that they would think that, but it didn't bother me because I know that the way I feel about people and kids. So I don't like the fact maybe it was anonymous. People wrote a lot of things anonymously about the principal, about the middle school principal, about the other things, about the superintendent that were just kind of stupid, actually. The school does a great job of listening to the community, trying to make changes based on what they do. Our principal works well with the local police around our drug problems and those kind of things that we might have, trying to make sure that we limit those kind of things. So again, we're in a small community and it makes it easier to do those kind of things. Power structures, there's a definite power structure here in the high school. You have a couple female teachers who've been here for a long time. You don't want to mess with in their sandbox. So I do everything I can to make nice with them and support them in what they do. Micropolitics, yeah. Hopefully none of those ladies will ever see this, but they gather together in the lunchroom in the teacher's lounge, and it's just the ladies, so they call it the hen house. So I just kind of stay out of there. The other male teachers, we kind of stay out of there. And like I said, I mean, they're good teachers. I get along fine with them, but there's definitely a clique among those teachers that have been here for a while. So I just play turtle, keep my head down, try to keep everybody happy. And there certainly is a micro political society in the lunchroom in the teacher's lounge during lunch. I think that the school does a real good job of trying to facilitate the English as second language learners, especially the parents, because a lot of the parent-teacher conferences that I have are with parents who don't speak English. So I make sure that I use my kids to communicate there. And I've really been prompted lately, especially since starting the course to become a principal, that I need to learn Spanish. So I have a son who served a mission in Argentina, and he is fluent in Spanish, and he's helping me to learn Spanish going forward. So, I mean, being able to speak Spanish has helped him as an EMT and can only help me as an administrator. So the culture of the school is to support the Hispanic community, support the Hispanic parents, and do what's best for the kids. So I think we do a good job in our multicultural area. Power structure, I just, in a small school like this, the power structure is the school board, the booster club, the administrators, and I think all three of those here in Elkhart are doing what's best for the student. I think that's what they always do, what's best. We do have one school board member who, again, he's kind of a bully, but he seems to do what's right for the students all the time. His leadership style is kind of different than what I would do, but they all do a good job. Measuring public opinion. I talked a little bit about another assignment in the fall. We did a service project, and I had about 15, 20 guys, and we went to the local cemetery, and they had some of that white railing that was damaged, and we replaced that. And besides just talking to people, we have very close relationships with people. That's how we measure public opinion: what they say, what they write, those different things. We did a questionnaire, like I said, during parent-teacher conferences, and it gave us some things that the school is working on. I know we got a lot of positive feedbacks about our service day, but again, kind of silly things came up as well. And that's my Module 5. Thank you.